What's going on, everybody? My name is Nedia16 and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Pokemon Colosseum. In the last episode, we arrived here in Fenac City. We rescued Rui from some kidnappers. We met the mayor, and we also rescued this Makuhita from some evil trainers who have seemed to have closed the door to its heart. At the very end of the episode, we had 3 strange trainers in red, blue, and green outfits come and block the exits to Fenac City. In this episode, we're going to see if we can figure out a way to exit Fenac City and see what these 3 trainers have to offer. But first and foremost, I'd like to take a look at this Makuhita here. So, as you can see right down there, the door to his heart is starting to open, the heart gauge. This heart gauge is going to determine a lot. This is basically what these Pokemon with Black Aura's whole kind of MO is, I guess. Is that the door to their hearts have been shut, which is why they're these evil fighting machines as they were labeled. The way you will access this Pokemon's full potential and the ability to see all of its stats here, as you can see, you can't see its nature, its ID number, anything like that, is by opening the door to its heart. Now, you might notice that its heart's gauge has already kind of gone down, and that's because I've been doing some audio tests and some controller tests, and I had a botched intro earlier, so I've been kind of running around Fenac City. There are lots of other ways to lower the heart gauge, but one of them that I'm going to tell you right now is just walking around will lower its heart gauge. So that's something to keep in mind. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could just walk around in circles for like 45 minutes and you might lower it, but that's not very fun. But other than that, you can see its ability, you can see its stats and everything. If we go over to its moves, you can see it only has one move called Shadow Rush. It has no PP, and it doesn't have any other moves unlocked. Shadow Rush is a pretty interesting move. We'll get into it later when we actually see what it does in battle. But for now, let's go ahead and find out what these 3 trainers in these colored outfits have to offer. Now, I will say you'll only get the chance to do one of these battles. So, choose wisely because you only get the chance to do one of them per this game. Each of them is going to have a different Pokemon with a Black Aura. So, you might want to do some research, might want to watch ahead if you're playing along. But just so you know, you only get the chance to do one of these battles. But without further ado, let's go ahead and see these 3 battles. Your first choice of Pokemon here in Fenac City for one of the Johto starters is Bayleaf. Bayleaf is not your typical grass type. Typically, grass type starters are based on learning status ailing moves like Paralysis and Poison. Bayleaf is not the case here. Bayleaf is too high leveled to get those moves. Instead, Bayleaf acts more of a sweeper, having the ability to learn Solar Beam, Razor Leaf, and Sunny Day, and having decently high speed and special attack to boot. That's basically all Bayleaf is good for, is that it's just kind of a spam-happy sweep character. It has decent sweeping potential, however, Grass is not the greatest offensive type in the world, especially not in this generation, just because of its typing and the physical special split and the way moves work in this game. So, Grass is not the greatest offensive type in the world. It has okay defenses, but Grass has a lot of weaknesses, so just be wary of that if you're planning on using it. Another thing about Bayleaf is that if you decide to use Bayleaf, and you use both of your starter Pokemon, both your Umbreon and Espeon, that'll be half of your team weak to Bug in a game where you have 2 Pokemon on the field at once. There are some pretty strong Bug types as of this point in the series, so that can be kind of a problem if you don't have a good counter for them. And straight up, there aren't that many good counters for Bug types in this game. There are maybe like 3 or 4 decent flying types, and I think 1 other decent fire type that isn't the fire type in Fenac City. So, just be wary of that, make note of that if you're planning on using Bayleaf, but other than that, that's all you really need to know about it. Your second choice of Pokemon in Fenac City is Quilava. Quilava is the most attack-oriented of the 3, having high physical and special attack, and having the moveset to boot, coming with both Flame Wheel and Fire Blast, meaning that basically any special type move, any special attack you teach it is going to do a lot of damage. Furthermore, Quilava, when it's fully evolved, will have equal stats to Charizard, and as we know, Charizard is one of the fan favorites from Generation 1 for some reason, even though it's not that good. If you like using Charizard, you should fit right in with Quilava and its evolution. Something interesting to note about Quilava is that it's not even that interesting, but something to note about Quilava is that your starters, Umbreon and Espeon, don't have a good counter for Quilava's weaknesses that you would get if you were to use Bayleaf, because Bayleaf is weak to poison and Espeon covers poison. That's a really specific example, but I want to point it out. And if you were to use the other Pokemon that you'll see here in a minute, the water type, it's the same goes for them as well if you were to use them. Other than that though, Quilava, it's pretty standard. Fire type has good special attacks across the board, can take hits decently well, all things considered. Yeah, it comes with Smoke Screen in its ability, which is a good move for stalling to catch Pokemon with Black Auras. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all there really is to say. Alright, now that you have seen the other two options, why don't we go ahead and show off the option that we haven't seen yet. Sorry to break it to you, but I'm not about to let you pass. Or do you have this idea that you can take me in a battle? Ha ha ha, who's gonna beat me? You are? Don't be crying out of regret later. Mystery Troop Bluno would like to battle. Bluno, what happened to your good sense? Man, if you know that song, well, I think it was like popular on like YouTube and TikTok. So never mind, you probably do know that song. Anyway, Bluno here has a Croconaw. That is a Pokemon with a black aura, and it can be snagged. Like I mentioned, you can only choose one of these. You might have noticed that each one of these are one of the 3 Johto starters, the second phase of the 3 Johto starters. I recommend that you pick one of these to use on your team throughout this adventure, because it's a very easy snag and you get them basically for free. And having a free grass, water, or fire type in this game where there's very few options is good to have right off the bat. And therefore, I would like to use this Croconaw here on my team. Croconaw is kind of the middle road of the 3 starters. It's all of its stats are pretty fair all around. A big problem that Croconaw suffers from is that it has high physical attacking stats, but doesn't really have the best type for physical attacking, being a pure water type. However, it can get things like Ice Fang and Ice Punch, which are very good. And like I mentioned earlier, with the fighting type move, I also recommend you might have a couple things that can do some ice type damage. So therefore, I think Croconaw is good in that regard. Croconaw is also probably the most defensive of the 3. It can take hits pretty well, and being a pure water type is pretty good. Having only a couple of weaknesses to show for. And while one of the weaknesses is grass type, which there are a lot of grass types in this game, like a lot of grass types in this game, there aren't going to be too many that are really gonna put a damper on things. So I don't know, that's my reasoning. I think it'll just slide nicely in my team, and I think it'll slide nicely right here in our team. So I think that's why well, shoot, there you go. That's also one of the reasons why I want to pick it up right here, is that it has the move. Whoa! Dang, Espeon. It has the move Surf. This is before Generation 5, where Surf got nerfed. And it hits both you and your partner in a double battle. In this game, Surf is 90 power, and it hits both of your opponents in a double battle. And being a same type attack bonus, getting same type attack bonus, it gets a 1.5 times modifier. That's the thing that all Pokemon have, is that if they use a move that is the same type as them, they get a 1.5 times modifier on that move. It's called the same type attack bonus. Furthermore, not every water type in this game has Surf in its moveset, so you might want to pick up Croconaw right there. Also, you might have noticed, if I didn't already mention it, you might have also noticed that each of the 3 Johto starters... Wow, really? You might have noticed that each of the 3 Johto starters has their respective Really? Really? Anyway, back to where we were originally. What I was about to say was that each of the 3 Johto starters has the item that raises that starter's moves. Bayleaf had the Miracle Seed, Quilava had the Charcoal, and Croconaw has the Mystic Water. Each of those items will raise the power of the move of that type. So even if you aren't planning on using one of the 3 Johto starters on your team, you might want to consider other Pokemon you might want to use instead and pick the starter that has the item you want. I believe you could get the other items normally. I know you can at least get the Mystic Water. However, I'm not 100... Right, can't use the same move twice in a row because of Torment. Secret Power, I guess. You might want to pick the one that has the item that you want. I feel like now's a good time to mention that if you KO a Pokemon with a black aura, that was almost bad. If you KO a Pokemon with a black aura, you do not get with very few exceptions, you don't really get another chance to snag it again. Most of the time, they're just KO'd and they disappear. Like I said, there are a few exceptions to this rule. It does count as beating the battle because you're making the Pokemon faint, which is the win condition for winning a Pokemon battle. But like I said, except for a few exceptions, you don't get really another chance to catch it. We're gonna use the Great Ball this time, and hopefully it doesn't escape. I swear to God, that was so annoying that it escaped, and then freaking Umbreon got a critical hit on it. Oof. I don't remember if I've mentioned it or not, but if I have, 1, 2, 3, there we go. All it took was using a higher Power Ball. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but if I haven't, critical hits, you're tough. Truly and Folly can't be blamed for losing. Critical hits do double damage and they ignore all stat changes. So raising defense, lowering attack, it ignores all those and then does double the move's power. Critical hits are dangerous. What was that strange Pokemon? What did you people do to it? That? It's Pokemon that we turned into a fighting machine by artificially closing the door to its heart. No, you did it. You artificially closed the door to that poor Pokemon's heart? That's not gonna help you do anything. I know, when I was little, I heard about that. They said that if any Pokemon closes the door to its heart, it could be gradually reopened by battling together with it. Wes, let's go. These guys are probably headed for Pyrite Town. After all, it was in Pyrite Town that they captured me. We could go ahead and head off to Pyrite Town, but there's one other thing I would like to do. Last time we did not take on Justy's pre-gym when we were here because we had other stuff we want to do, but now I think is a good time to go ahead and take care of this. We're going to move Croconaw up into Umbreon's place. Sorry, Umbreon, you're getting shafted. I'll be right here cheering. Looks like you're ready. Well, let's get this started. You know, we're facing 4 trainers, and blah, 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 blah. Gonna take some grass-type Pokemon? Yes. Cool trainer Botan. Botan? Maybe it's Botan. So, I probably won't show all of these battles. I might speed through them or cut them out or show the highlights or something. But I'm going to at least show this first one because there's a couple things that I do want to talk about. Yes, we have a Croconaw on our team now. Our Croconaw is male. Interesting. Pokemon gender doesn't really matter all that much. It's just kind of an arbitrary stat. I really picked a bad time to use Croconaw in the first battle because these are all grass types. This is going to be good. Really? Really? You didn't even attack once, and you're already in hyper mode. That's a good omen for the rest of this Let's Play. Alright. Hyper mode. Where do I even begin with hyper mode? Hyper mode is a arbitrary, not even arbitrary, is a passive effect that Pokemon can go into. If you were to attack, its critical hit ratio would be increased. However, it won't always attack. It'll disobey you, it can attack your teammate, it can attack you, it can do other moves, it can do nothing, it can use items out of your inventory, it can do all sorts of things. Basically, hyper mode is high risk, high reward, like I said, because your critical hit ratio is increased. It increases your critical hit ratio, but you can also have a lot of arbitrary effects. Why do I keep saying the word arbitrary? You can have a lot of adverse effects to it. However, that is what this call mechanic for it right here. If I were to call Croconaw, like I'm about to do right now, this is confusion. Came to its senses from the trainer's call. If your Pokemon were to ever enter hyper mode, using the call command will snap it out of hyper mode instantly. Also, using the call command will lower its heart gauge every single time. However, you know, I actually don't know. I was about to say, however, it doesn't go down if you just call it without it being in hyper mode. But I don't actually know, so I might as well test that. Does this do anything? Let's find out, I guess. Let's just turn. Okay, it doesn't do anything. Just making sure. So that's what the call command is for. If anybody is curious, is that it takes your Pokemon out of hyper mode. Also, the call command acts as an awakening, as an item, like the awakening item. So if your Pokemon would ever fall asleep, you can press the call command and it'll wake up instantly. I'm going to toughen up some more. Hope you keep working too. Thanks, buddy. I will. Cool Trainer Liqui. Liqui? Meryl and Surskit. You know, you could use some, like, actually good Pokemon. Okay, Meryl's pretty good. Surskit's... eh. You'll also notice that it's just by sending Croconaw out, it also lowers its heart gauge automatically. So there are multiple different ways that Pokemon can lower their heart gauges. You can walk with it, you can call it when it's in hyper mode. Every time it gets sent out, it will lower its heart gauge. All kinds of stuff. Anyway, I've been meaning to talk about this. I meant to talk about this entirety of the last battle, but I didn't get the chance to. Come on! Oh my god, it's Chugga Conroy's Mr. Revis all over again. In all seriousness, you could try and battle with it in hyper mode, but, it's not really worth it, like I said, because all the adverse effects just get on your nerves, and you get a free... It lowers your heart gauge for free by calling it out of hyper mode anyway, so it's better to just call it when it's in hyper mode. Now, I'll post on screen whether this is true or not. I'm pretty sure using the move Shadow Rush increases your chance of going into hyper mode. You have a set chance of going into it every turn, but I believe using Shadow Rush increases it. Don't quote me on that though, I'm not sure. Level 27, very nice. But I'm not sure. Anyway, oh, we got a new move. You can unlock your 4 moves by lowering your heart gauge. It's very simple. Scareface, lower speed. Right? Yeah. Mean Look is the one that prevents you from escaping. I know Pokemon. Okay. Espeon Mary one-shot this Meryl. Oh, it didn't. Okay. Croconaw? Oh, I became confused. Oh my god. This Meryl is confused. Confusion, is a stat that basically makes you roll a dice every time you want to attack, or flip a coin every time you want to attack. You have a 50-50 chance. If you get the negative side of the 50, you hit yourself with a 30 power typeless physical move. Confusion can be broken by switching out. There are abilities that prevent it. There's items that can stop it. And it goes away naturally after a few turns. That's Confusion in a nutshell. Dugo. Oh, using ground type Pokemon, so maybe it's Duggo. I don't know, man. Okay. Now, if Croconaw would like to actually attack for once, I can explain what Shadow Rush is. I mean, I could just explain it anyways, but I keep having to... Whoa, that almost... Okay. Okay. This is getting ridiculous, man. Croconaw has lowered almost half of its heart gauge already, and it hasn't attacked once. I'm not putting up with it. This is a bad omen for the rest of this Let's Play. I can already see it. Who went underground? Swinub. Okay, I'm gonna have to explain it eventually. So, Shadow Rush is a move unique to Pokemon Black Auras in this game. They're the only ones that can get it. Shadow Rush has no type, therefore it is not effective against anything, and not resisted by anything. Shadow Rush is 50 power with is a 50 power physical typeless move with recoil damage. Recoil does, I think, 1/8 of the total amount of damage it does. I'm not 100% sure about that. I'll post that on screen whether that's true or not. I believe that's what it does, though. And Shadow Rush is the only move of this kind in this game. This will be fixed in the sequel. Oh my god, he actually attacked for once. Now he's gonna kill himself with recoil. Well, he didn't KO himself, I shouldn't say that word. Pokemon KO himself. Oh man. What was that? 5 out of 6 what was that? 1 out of 6 times I tried to use it, you went into hyper mode. Jeez. Gwyn. Great. Alright. Geodude and Rhyhorn. Einhorn and Finkel. Alrighty. Here's something I will say. Even though it's annoying that 5 out of 6 times Croconaw didn't attack. I'm actually just gonna use a healing item on him. I got some potions. Even though it's annoying that literally 5 out of 6 times Croconaw didn't attack, I will say that it's at least keeping these battles interesting. I'm not going to be showing all these basic trainer battles like this. I'm only showing this because it's Croconaw's first few battles and there's a lot of stuff to go over when it comes to Pokemon with Black Auras. But it is keeping the battles interesting. This game is very battle heavy. You're going to be battling a lot of trainers in this game. And not all of them are going to have Pokemon with Black Auras. So there's going to be a long periods of time where you're just... There's going to be long periods of time where you're just, like, doing nothing but battling for a while. And that can get really tiresome and it can be kind of hard to commentate. So I am glad that it's at least keeping these battles interesting, because I won't be showing every single battle like this. I'm just showing these because there's lots of stuff to go over here early on. My battling style must have been too sophisticated for you. Is that what that said? Well, we beat your pre-gym, Justy. We beat all 4 of your silly little trainers. Whoa, that was inspiring. You showed me a great battle. It deserves a gift. I want you to have this. The White Herb. You don't have a full party Pokemon yet. When you have 6 of them, I'd like you to come see me again. That's when I will be your opponent. I'm looking forward to it. We'll have to come back and, hold him up, take him up on that offer. This is kind of interesting how underneath the battle area there's this lady with a Magikarp flopping around. Yeah. So there's nothing much down here. You can come down to talk to all these guys, but I don't really think there's any point in that. Yeah. I think it's what do you have to say, actually? This is the training center. There's a variety of trains and Pokemon contractor. Any kind meaning 4. You wouldn't want to send a freaking flying type down here. Well, the flying type could probably train in the grass area. I don't know. The White Herb, if I may go and show that off real quick. The White Herb returns any lowered stat to normal. It's not that helpful. I mean, it's good to have if you're a person that really freaks out about stat lowering. The truth is that stat lowering in Pokemon doesn't really matter all that much because you can counteract it or you could just switch out to another Pokeball. But with that, there isn't really much left else in Pyrite to do. In Pyrite, yeah. There isn't much else left to do in Phenac City, is what I meant to say. But I believe we have officially accomplished everything we have left to do in Phenac City. Justy said he wanted to see us when we have 6 Pokemon. We don't have 6 Pokemon yet, so can't really do much about that. But I believe that we are off to Pyrite next time with our new Pokemon in tow. Ooh, okay. So we now have a Sassy nature. Sassy is plus special defense minus speed. Not bad, actually. That's pretty decent for Croconaw, because Croconaw's kind of bulky anyways. But yeah, there isn't much else left to do. We have our new Pokemon in tow. We accomplished everything here. We beat Justy at the pre-gym. Next time, let's play Pokemon Colosseum. We're heading off to Pirate Town to see what it has in store for us. So like this part, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. I'll see you guys then.